My daughter-in-law said I should pay their debts because I'm family. She regretted saying that. The words came out of her mouth so casually, like she was asking me to pass the salt. You should pay off our credit cards. Your family. That's what family does. I was sitting in my living room. Sunday afternoon. My son Marcus and his wife Jennifer had come over for what I thought was a casual visit. Turns out, it wasn't casual at all. It was an ambush. Pay off your credit cards? I repeated slowly. Yes. Jennifer smiled like this was perfectly reasonable. We're $50,000 in debt. Credit cards, car loans, some personal loans. You could clear it all and we'd finally be free. $50,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but you can afford it. You have your pension, your savings. Your house is paid off, and we're family. Family helps family. I looked at my son. Marcus wouldn't meet my eyes. Just stared at the floor like a child who knew what his wife was saying was wrong, but was too scared to stop her. Marcus, I said, do you agree with this? Do you think I should pay $50,000 to clear your debts? He finally looked up. Mom, we're really struggling. If we don't get help, we might lose the car, maybe even the house. So you want me to give you $50,000. Not give, Jennifer jumped in. Think of it as investing in your son's future. In our future. In your grandchildren's future. I didn't have grandchildren. They didn't have kids yet. But Jennifer was already weaponizing hypothetical grandchildren to guilt me. That's when I knew. This wasn't a request. This was a demand wrapped in family obligation. And if I said no, I'd be painted as the selfish mother-in-law who abandoned her son in his time of need. So I didn't say no. Not right away. I said something that would change everything. Let me think about it. Jennifer's face lit up. Really? Oh, thank you. I knew you'd understand. Family takes care of family. They left 30 minutes later. Jennifer hugged me, told me how grateful she was, how this would change their lives, how she'd always known I was a good mother-in-law despite our differences. I smiled, nodded, closed the door behind them, and immediately started planning something Jennifer never saw coming. Something that would teach her exactly what family really means. My name is Patricia Moore. I'm 67 years old. 3 months ago, my daughter-in-law told me I should pay their $50,000 debt because family helps family. Today, she's facing consequences she never imagined. My son learned a hard lesson about enabling his wife's entitlement. And I discovered that sometimes the best way to help family is to let them face their own choices. This is the story of financial manipulation, misplaced obligation, and the unexpected revenge that came from saying, "Let me think about it," instead of, "Absolutely not." Let me start at the beginning, so you understand exactly how Jennifer went from demanding my money to losing everything she thought she was entitled to. Marcus is my only child. I raised him alone after his father died when Marcus was 10, worked 2 jobs, made sacrifices, put him through college, gave him everything I could while still building my own financial security. He graduated, got a good job in IT, made $65,000 a year. Not rich, but comfortable, could support himself easily. Then he met Jennifer. She was beautiful, charming, confident, worked in marketing, made decent money herself. They got married after a year of dating. I had reservations. Jennifer had expensive taste, seemed financially irresponsible. But I kept quiet. My son was an adult. His choices were his own. The first year of marriage seemed fine. They bought a house, new cars, nice furniture, went on vacations, posted constantly on social media about their perfect life. Year 2, the cracks appeared. Marcus mentioned they were a little tight on money, asked if I could lend them $2,000 for an unexpected car repair. I said yes. Family helps family, right? I lent him $2,000. He promised to pay it back. He never did, and I never asked, because I could afford to lose $2,000, and because I didn't want to be the nagging mother asking about money. Year 3, another request. $3,000 this time. Emergency home repair. We'll pay you back next month. I said yes again. They didn't pay it back. I didn't push. Year 4, $5,000. Medical bills. We're waiting on insurance. I said yes. No repayment. No surprise. Over 4 years, I'd lent them $12,000. $12,000 they never intended to repay. $12,000 I'd let go because I didn't want conflict, didn't want to be the difficult mother-in-law. But I'd kept track, documented every loan, every promise to repay, every excuse for why they hadn't. So when Jennifer showed up demanding $50,000 more, I already knew this wasn't about need. This was about entitlement, about them viewing me as a bank, about Jennifer deciding my savings existed to fund their lifestyle. That Sunday afternoon, after they left, I sat down and did math. Real math. About what Jennifer and Marcus actually earned and spent. Combined income, about $110,000 a year. That's good money. More than comfortable for two people with no kids. Their mortgage, $2,000 a month. Reasonable for their area. But then I looked at social media, at their lifestyle, at what they posted. New furniture every few months. Designer clothes. Expensive restaurants. Weekend trips to resorts. Concert tickets. Latest phones. High-end electronics. They weren't struggling because they didn't make enough. They were struggling because they spent everything they made, and more. They'd financed a lifestyle they couldn't afford and now wanted me to pay for it. $50,000 in debt wasn't bad luck. It was bad choices. Over and over for years. And Jennifer thought I should fix it. Because family. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to say no. I was going to say yes. But not in the way Jennifer expected. On Monday morning, I called a family attorney, set up a meeting, explained the situation. My daughter-in-law wants me to pay $50,000 in debt. I want to protect myself. What are my options? The attorney was direct. Don't pay it. You have no legal obligation. If they're financially irresponsible, giving them money won't help. It'll just enable more bad behavior. What if I want to help, but with conditions? You could structure it as a formal loan with a promissory note, payment schedule, interest, legal consequences for non-payment. What if I want to help in a different way, a way that actually addresses their financial problems? The attorney smiled. Tell me what you're thinking. I laid out my plan. The attorney took notes, asked questions, made suggestions. By the end of the meeting, we had a strategy Jennifer was going to hate, but one that would actually help Marcus and teach Jennifer a lesson she'd never forget. On Tuesday, I called Jennifer. I've thought about it. I'd like to help with your debt. Oh, thank you. I knew you'd. But I have conditions. Silence. Then carefully. What kind of conditions? Come over Saturday. Bring Marcus. Bring all your financial documents, credit card statements, loan agreements, bank statements, everything. We'll go through it together. Why do we need to do that? Because if I'm paying $50,000, I want to understand where it went and make sure this doesn't happen again. That seems invasive. Jennifer, you're asking me for $50,000. You've involved me in your finances. So yes, if I'm helping, I need full transparency. Otherwise, the answer is no. Long pause. Fine. We'll be there Saturday. Saturday came. Marcus and Jennifer arrived with a folder of documents. They looked nervous. Good. We sat at my dining table. I pulled out a legal pad. Started reviewing. Credit card 1, $18,000. Clothes, restaurants, electronics, travel. Credit card 2, $12,000. More of the same. Credit card 3, $8,000. Furniture, home decor, car loan, $7,000 remaining. For a car worth less than they owed. Personal loan, $5,000. Emergency money that went to a vacation. I added it up. Showed them the total. $50,000, just like you said. Right. Jennifer nodded. So, if you could just write a check. I'm not writing a check. Her face fell. But you said you'd help. I am helping. Just not the way you expected. Here's what I'm offering. I pulled out a document my attorney had prepared. Slid it across the table. This is a financial counseling agreement. I'll pay for you to work with a financial advisor. Professional. Someone who can help you budget, manage money, and get out of debt responsibly. Jennifer stared at the document like it was poisoned. We don't need counseling. We need money. You need counseling. You make $110,000 a year and you're $50,000 in debt. That's not a money problem. That's a spending problem. So you're not going to help us. I'm offering to pay for professional help that will actually solve your problem. That's more valuable than $50,000 that you'll just burn through and need more next year. That's not what we agreed to. We didn't agree to anything. You asked me to pay your debts. I'm offering to help in a way that actually works. Marcus finally spoke. Mom, we can't do counseling. It's embarrassing. More embarrassing than asking your mother for $50,000? More embarrassing than being 30 years old and unable to manage your finances? Jennifer stood up. This is insulting. You're treating us like children. You're acting like children. Children who think money appears magically, who think someone else should always fix your problems. We're family. Family is supposed to help each other. I am helping. I'm offering to pay for the tools you need to fix this permanently. If you don't want that help, fine. But I'm not handing you $50,000 to spend on more furniture and vacations. Jennifer grabbed her purse. Come on, Marcus. We're leaving. Marcus hesitated. Looked at me. Looked at Jennifer. Looked at the document on the table. Marcus, let's go. Now. He followed her out. Like a puppy following its owner. They left. Slammed my door. Drove away angry. I sat at my table. Looked at the financial counseling agreement they'd rejected. And smiled. Because this was just the beginning. The first move in a strategy Jennifer had no idea was coming. If you've been pressured by family who think your money exists to solve their problems, who weaponize family obligation to guilt you into funding their choices, you know this anger. Share your experience in the comments. And if these stories of financial boundaries resonate with you, please subscribe to Lindsay Stories. For 2 weeks after that Saturday, silence. Jennifer and Marcus didn't call, didn't text, didn't visit. They were angry, probably complaining to anyone who'd listen about how selfish I was. Fine. Let them be angry. I had work to do. First, I called my attorney. They rejected the counseling offer. What's next? Next, you protect your assets. Make sure they can't access your accounts. Update your will to prevent any claims. And document everything in case this escalates. I did all of that. Changed my passwords. Made sure Marcus wasn't on any joint accounts. He wasn't, but I verified. Updated my will with very specific language about debt and loans. Second, I did research. I wanted to know exactly what Jennifer and Marcus's financial situation really looked like. I couldn't access their credit reports or bank accounts, obviously, but I could see what they posted publicly, what they spent, what they valued. In the 2 weeks after our meeting, Jennifer posted on Instagram, new designer purse, $800 based on the brand, dinner at an expensive steakhouse, probably $200, weekend getaway at a resort, at least $500, new shoes, designer, $300 minimum. In 2 weeks, while claiming they were struggling, she'd spent at least $1,800 on luxury items. I screenshot everything, documented dates, added to my file, because I knew what was coming. Jennifer wasn't done. She'd be back. With a new strategy, new manipulation, new demands. 3 weeks after the Saturday meeting, Marcus called. Mom, can we talk? Of course. Jennifer thinks you owe us an apology. For what? For embarrassing her. For treating us like we're irresponsible. For not helping when we needed it. Marcus, you are irresponsible. You make good money and you're $50,000 in debt from pure lifestyle spending. That's the definition of irresponsible. We've had some unexpected expenses, like the $800 purse Jennifer posted last week, or the resort weekend. Those unexpected expenses? Silence. He hadn't known I was watching their social media. Marcus, I offered to help. Real help. Professional financial counseling. You rejected it because it required you to acknowledge the problem. That's on you, not me. Jennifer says if you really cared about family, you'd help without conditions. And I say if Jennifer really understood family, she wouldn't be demanding $50,000 from her husband's retired mother. She's really upset. She'll survive. The question is, what do you want, Marcus? Not what Jennifer wants. What do you want? Long pause. I want to stop fighting about money. Every day, every purchase, every bill. It's exhausting. Then accept my offer. Do the counseling. Learn to budget. Fix the actual problem. Jennifer won't do it. Then do it yourself. Come alone. I'll pay for you to work with a financial advisor. You learn the skills. You apply them at home. You take control of your finances. Jennifer would be furious if I did that behind her back. Jennifer is furious anyway. At least this way, You'd actually be solving your problem. I'll think about it. You do that. And Marcus, I love you. I want to help you. But I won't enable a lifestyle you can't afford. That's not help. That's harm. He hung up. I didn't hear from him for another 2 weeks, but I heard from Jennifer. Oh, I heard from Jennifer. 5 weeks after the original Saturday meeting, Jennifer started a social media campaign. Public posts about family and obligation and disappointment. When family turns their back on you in your darkest hour, you learn who really cares. Some people value money more than relationships. I guess I married into the wrong family. My Mael has plenty of money but won't help us when we're drowning. But sure, family first, right? She never named me directly, but mutual friends and family knew. They saw the posts. They reached out. My sister called. Patricia, what's going on? Jennifer is posting some concerning things. Jennifer wants me to pay $50,000 to clear her debts. I offered to pay for financial counseling instead. She refused. Now she's upset. $50,000? That's outrageous. I thought so too. And you offered counseling? That's more than generous. She doesn't want help. She wants money. Those are different things. Not everyone was supportive. My cousins sided with Jennifer. They're your family. If they need help and you can afford it, you should help. I offered help. They refused it. But they need money. They need financial discipline. Money without discipline just creates more debt. I'm not funding that cycle. The social media posts continued, got more pointed, more accusatory. Jennifer was building a public case that I was a terrible mother-in-law, selfish, cruel, money-obsessed. And I let her. Didn't respond publicly. Didn't defend myself. Just documented every post, every accusation, every manipulation attempt. Because I was still several moves ahead. And Jennifer had no idea what was really happening. 7 weeks after the original meeting, Marcus called again. This time, his voice was different. Desperate. Mom, things are bad. Really bad. Jennifer maxed out another credit card. We missed 2 mortgage payments. The bank is threatening foreclosure if we don't catch up. How much do you need to catch up? $4,000, but we don't have it. We're barely covering food and gas. What happened to the money you were making? You should have enough for the mortgage. We've been trying to pay down the credit cards. But the minimum payments are so high that we can't cover everything. Because you're $50,000 in debt at high interest rates. Yes. Marcus, this is exactly what I was worried about. This is why I offered counseling. So you'd learn to manage money before it got this bad. I know. You were right. I should have listened. So what are you asking me? Can you loan us $4,000 just to catch up on the mortgage? I promise we'll pay you back. I thought about it. About the $12,000 I'd already loaned that was never repaid. About the $50,000 Jennifer had demanded. About 7 weeks of social media attacks. No. Mom, please. We're going to lose the house. You're not going to lose the house. You're going to figure this out. You're going to cut spending. You're going to get second jobs if necessary. You're going to handle your own crisis. But you could help? I could. But I'm not going to. Because helping you would mean enabling Jennifer's spending. And I won't do that. I love you too much to watch you drown while throwing you a rope that won't save you. What am I supposed to do? Call the bank. Ask about loan modification. Look into debt consolidation. Sell the second car if necessary. Cut your expenses to bare minimum. Do what people do when they're actually broke, which you're not. You make plenty. You just spend more. This is your fault. If you'd just helped when we first asked, we wouldn't be here. No, Marcus. If I'd helped when you first asked, you'd have blown through $50,000 and still missed your mortgage payments. Because the problem isn't money, it's spending. And until you address that, no amount of my money will fix anything. He hung up on me. First time in his life he'd ever done that. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No sadness. Just resolution. I was doing the right thing. Even if Marcus couldn't see it yet. 8 weeks after the original meeting, things escalated. Jennifer called me directly. First time she'd spoken to me since the Saturday blow-up. Patricia, we need to talk. I'm listening. I know you're angry with us. I know we didn't handle things well. But we're in real trouble now. We might lose everything. Please. I'm begging you. Help us. I offered help. You refused it. We need money, not lectures. And I need you to understand that money isn't help when the real problem is spending. Money is just a band-aid on a broken bone. So you're really going to let us lose our house? Let Marcus lose everything? You're going to let your son become homeless? Marcus won't be homeless. He'll find an apartment. He'll downsize. He'll learn to live within his means. It'll be hard, but he'll survive, and he'll be better for it. You're heartless. I'm boundaried, and I'm protecting my own financial security so I don't end up in your situation. That's not heartless. That's smart. Family doesn't abandon each other. Family doesn't demand $50,000. Family doesn't throw public tantrums on social media. Family doesn't guilt and manipulate. You want to talk about family? Let's talk about how you've treated me for 8 weeks. I was desperate, and I was helpful. I offered counseling. I offered tools. I offered real solutions. You wanted cash. Those aren't the same thing. So that's it? You're done with us? I'm done being your ATM. I'm not done being Marcus's mother. When he's ready to address his actual problems, I'll be here. But until then, no. No more money. No more loans. No more funding a lifestyle you can't afford. Jennifer hung up without another word. And I knew. This was about to get worse before it got better. But I was ready. I'd been ready for weeks. Because I'd been planning something Jennifer still hadn't figured out. Something that would end this manipulation permanently. 10 weeks after the original meeting, everything came to a head. And Jennifer learned exactly what happens when you weaponize family against someone who refuses to play the game. But that part of the story? That's what Jennifer never saw coming. And what made her regret ever saying, I should pay their debts because I'm family. Let me tell you what happened next. Because this is where things got interesting. 9 weeks after the original demand, Marcus showed up at my house. Alone. No Jennifer. Looking exhausted. Mom, can I come in? Of course. He sat on my couch, put his head in his hands, just sat there for a full minute before speaking. Jennifer left me. My heart sank. Left you? Moved out. Went to her parents' house. Said she can't live with the financial stress anymore. Said if I can't provide the life she expected, she needs space to figure things out. I'm sorry, Marcus. Are you? This is what you wanted, isn't it? For us to fall apart so you could be right? No, I never wanted this. I wanted you to get help, to fix your problems, not to lose your marriage. Well, congratulations. The marriage is over. The house is in foreclosure. I'm drowning in debt. And you were right about everything. Feel good? Marcus. No, you could have helped. You could have saved us. But you chose to make a point instead. You chose your principles over your son. I let him vent. Let him rage. Let him blame me. Because he needed to get it out. Needed to feel his feelings before he could hear truth. When he finally stopped, I spoke quietly. Marcus, I didn't choose principles over you. I chose long-term help over short-term enabling. If I'd given you $50,000, what would have changed? We wouldn't be losing the house? You'd still be $50,000 in debt, plus whatever else Jennifer spent in the meantime. And in 6 months or a year, you'd be right back here asking for more. Because the money wasn't the problem. The spending was. So you let me lose everything to teach me a lesson? I let you face consequences. That's different. And I offered real help, counseling, that you rejected. Jennifer said counseling was insulting. Jennifer said a lot of things. None of them solved your actual problem. He was quiet. Then, she spent $62,000 last year. I found the statements. $62,000 on clothes, restaurants, travel, furniture. We made $110. After taxes, we took home about $80. We spent $62 on lifestyle. That left $18 for mortgage, utilities, car payments. It doesn't work. The math doesn't work. No, it doesn't. I didn't realize how bad it was until she left, and I actually looked at everything. She always handled the money. Said she was better at it. I just worked and assumed she was managing. But she wasn't managing. She was spending. Everything. And then more. And I let her. Because I didn't want to fight. Didn't want to be the bad guy saying no. And now you're facing the consequences of that choice. I'm losing everything. You're losing things. Material things. That can be replaced. You're not losing everything. You're learning. And that lesson is worth more than my $50,000 ever could be. What am I supposed to do now? What you should have done months ago. Face it. Cut expenses to bare minimum. Get a second job if necessary. Talk to the bank about options. Maybe rent out a room. Maybe sell the house and downsize. Do what people do when they actually can't afford their lifestyle. I'm scared. Good. Fear means you're taking this seriously finally. Will you help me? Not with money. With figuring this out? And there it was. The question I'd been waiting for. The one that meant he was finally ready. Yes, I'll help. Here's what we're going to do. Over the next 2 hours, we created a plan. A real plan. Not involving my money. Involving his choices. First, we called the mortgage company. Got information about loan modification. About selling the house before foreclosure. About options. Second, we listed everything he owned that could be sold. Second car. Expensive electronics. Furniture they'd financed. Gaming systems. Designer clothes. Everything. Third, we created a bare minimum budget. Rent for a small apartment. Basic groceries. Utilities. Gas. Minimum debt payments. That was it. No restaurants. No travel. No luxuries. Fourth, we researched second jobs. Evening work. Weekend work. Anything to generate extra income for the next year while he dug out of debt. It was brutal. It was humbling. It required Marcus accepting that his life was going to look very different for a while. But he agreed to all of it. Because he finally understood. This was the only way. What about Jennifer? He asked at the end. What about her? Should I try to get her back? Try to fix the marriage? That depends. Is she willing to do this? I gestured at the budget we'd created. Is she willing to live on bare minimum? No spending? No luxuries? No social media lifestyle? For a year or more until you're stable? No, she'd never agree to that. Then you have your answer. You can't fix a marriage with someone who won't face reality. This is really over. Maybe. Or maybe Jennifer will see you actually handling things and want to be part of the solution. But either way, you handle your finances, your choices, your future, with or without her. He left my house that night with homework, calls to make, decisions to execute, things to sell, a plan to implement. And for the first time in months, I felt hope, real hope that Marcus might actually figure this out. But Jennifer wasn't done. Not even close. And what she did next showed exactly why Marcus was better off without her. 11 weeks after the original demand, Jennifer posted on social media again. But this time, it wasn't subtle. My MIL refused to help her son when he was drowning financially. Now we're losing our house. She has the money but chose to hoard it instead of saving her family. Some people care more about control than love. I hope she's happy watching her son suffer. She tagged me. Actually tagged me in the post. Made sure I'd see it. Made sure all our mutual friends and family would see it. My phone exploded. Messages from family, friends, acquaintances. Patricia, is this true? Did you really refuse to help Marcus? I can't believe you'd let him lose his house. Even people who'd supported me before were questioning. The tag made it personal, made it real, made me look like the villain in Jennifer's story. I didn't respond to the post, didn't defend myself publicly. But I did something else, something I'd been preparing for. I wrote my own post, detailed, factual, with receipts. I've stayed silent while my daughter-in-law has spent months posting about my refusal to help my son. Here's what actually happened. Thread. 1. Jennifer and Marcus asked me to pay $50,000 of their debt, not a loan, a gift, because family helps family. 2. I reviewed their finances. They make $110,000 a year. Their debt came from pure lifestyle spending. $62,000 last year on clothes, travel, restaurants, furniture. 3. I offered to pay for professional financial counseling. Real help that would teach them to manage money. They refused. Said they need money, not lectures. 4. Over 4 years, I'd previously loaned them $12,000 that was never repaid. This would have been $62,000 total. 5. After refusing counseling, they've spent 8 weeks publicly attacking me on social media while continuing to spend money they don't have. Screenshots of their public posts. Screenshots of Jennifer's luxury purchases posted during this time. Documentation of the counseling offer they rejected. I included everything, made it factual, made it clear, and ended with, "I love my son. I want him to succeed. But giving money to someone who won't address their spending problem isn't help. It's enabling. Real love sometimes means letting people face consequences so they can learn and grow. I refuse to enable. I still refuse. And I'd make the same choice again." I posted it, made it public, tagged the same people Jennifer had tagged, and waited. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Comments flooded in. "Thank you for sharing the truth. Jennifer's posts made you sound heartless, but this is completely different. You offered real help and they rejected it. That's on them. $62,000 in lifestyle spending while asking you for $50,000? That's insane. You did the right thing. Tough love is still love. Even people who'd questioned me before were apologizing. I'm sorry I doubted you." Jennifer's version was very one-sided. My sister called. "Patricia, that post! I had no idea Jennifer was still spending like that. Why didn't you tell us sooner?" "Because I was giving them space to figure it out privately. But Jennifer made it public, so I corrected the record. She's going to be furious. She already is. At least now everyone knows why." Jennifer's response came fast. She deleted her post, blocked me on social media, called me from an unknown number. "How dare you? You've humiliated me, made me look like the bad guy. You made yourself look like the bad guy by spending $62,000 while demanding I give you $50. I just provided facts. You had no right to share our financial information. You made our family business public for 8 weeks. I just corrected your version with facts. Everyone is messaging me, calling me entitled, saying I used Marcus. This is your fault." "No, Jennifer. This is your fault. You wanted to make this public. You wanted to weaponize family opinion against me. So I showed them the truth. You don't get to cry about consequences when your own strategy backfires." She hung up, and for the first time in weeks, I felt peace. Real peace. The truth was out. The manipulation was over. Jennifer's social pressure campaign had failed, but the best part, the part that made everything worth it, that was still coming. 12 weeks after the original demand, Marcus made a decision, one that changed everything, one that proved he'd actually learned the lesson, and one that made Jennifer realize exactly what she'd lost. Marcus sold the house. Short sale. Lost some money but avoided foreclosure. Moved into a small 2-bedroom apartment. Sold the expensive car. Bought a used, reliable one. Sold all the luxury furniture. Everything. He took a second job. Weekend bartending. Added $2,000 a month to his income. He created a strict budget. Lived on 30% of his income. Put 70% toward debt. In 3 months, he paid off $15,000 in debt. In 6 months, $28,000. He was doing it. Actually doing it. Without my money. Without Jennifer. Just him, making better choices. And Jennifer? Jennifer watched from a distance. Saw the social media posts. Saw Marcus actually succeeding. Saw him building the life she'd claimed was impossible without my money. 13 months after the original demand, Jennifer reached out to Marcus. "I want to come home. I want to try again." Marcus called me. "What should I do? What do you want to do?" I don't know. Part of me misses her. Part of me remembers the stress, the fighting, the spending. Has she changed? She says she has. Says she's learned. Says she wants to be part of the solution now. Actions speak louder than words. Tell her you'll consider it if she does 3 things first. What 3 things? 1. Complete the financial counseling program I originally offered. Actually go. Actually learn. Show certificates of completion. 2. Get a job and keep it for 6 months. Show she can earn and contribute. 3. Come up with a written plan for how she'd handle finances in the marriage. Budget, spending limits, accountability, everything. She'll never agree to that. Then you have your answer. If she wants you back but won't do the work to be different, she doesn't really want to change. She just wants back what she lost. Marcus delivered my 3 conditions. Jennifer was furious. "I don't need to prove myself. I'm your wife. You're my separated wife who left when things got hard. If you want to come back, you need to show you're ready to be different." She refused. Called the conditions insulting. Said Marcus was clearly under his mother's control. Said if he really loved her, he'd just take her back. Marcus didn't budge, said no unless she met the conditions. Jennifer tried manipulation. Fine, I'll find someone else. Someone who appreciates me. Okay, I hope you're happy. She tried guilt. I can't believe you're choosing your mother over me. I'm choosing financial stability over chaos. That's not the same thing. She tried threats. If we divorce, I'm entitled to half of everything. Jennifer, we have negative net worth. Half of debt is still debt. Go ahead and file. You'll get half of nothing. She finally realized Marcus had changed. Was done being manipulated. Was done enabling. Was done choosing her feelings over his financial security. 14 months after the original demand, Jennifer did something I never expected. Something that showed she'd finally understood. Something that made me believe maybe, just maybe, she'd actually learned. She called me, not Marcus, me. Patricia, I need to apologize. I'm listening. I was entitled. I was selfish. I was so focused on the lifestyle I wanted that I didn't care about the reality of our finances. And when you tried to help the right way, I rejected it because it wasn't what I wanted to hear. What changed? I'm living with my parents, paying them rent, working a job I hate because it's all I could find. And I see now what you were trying to prevent. This struggle, this humiliation. If I'd just accepted your help, real help, none of this would have happened. So why are you calling? I want to take you up on your original offer, the financial counseling. I want to learn. I want to do better. And I want to prove to Marcus, and to you, that I can change. What about Marcus? He said he'd consider reconciliation if I complete the counseling. So I'm doing it. Not to manipulate him, not to get what I want, but because I genuinely need to learn. Okay, I'll pay for the counseling. But Jennifer, understand this. I'm not doing this to get you and Marcus back together. I'm doing this because everyone deserves the tools to manage money, even people I don't particularly like. If you use those tools to win Marcus back, great. If you use them to build a different life, also great. Either way, you'll be better for it. Thank you. And Patricia, I'm sorry. For the posts, the accusations, the manipulation. I was wrong. About everything. Apology accepted. Now go do the work. Jennifer enrolled in the financial counseling program, a comprehensive 6-month course, budgeting, debt management, investment basics, money psychology, everything. She showed up to every session, did the homework, actually learned. And slowly, very slowly, Marcus started seeing real change. Not just words, actions. Jennifer working, saving, living within means, demonstrating she could be different. 18 months after the original demand, a year and a half later, Marcus and Jennifer reconciled. Slowly, carefully, with clear boundaries and expectations. They moved into a small apartment together, maintained separate bank accounts initially. Both worked, both contributed, both lived on a strict budget. And me? I didn't give them any money, not $1, because they didn't need it. They needed discipline, and they'd finally learned it. 2 years after Jennifer told me I should pay their debts because I'm family, I attended a dinner at their apartment. Small, modest, nothing like the house they'd lost. Thank you for coming, Mom, Marcus said as I arrived. Of course. Jennifer hugged me. Genuinely. Thank you. For everything. For not giving us the money. For making us face reality. We're actually happy now. Not stressed. Not fighting. Just happy. I'm proud of both of you. We paid off $30,000 in debt, Marcus said. Another $20,000 to go. Should be done in 10 months. That's incredible. We're thinking about kids, Jennifer added. But not until we're completely debt-free and have 6 months emergency savings. We're doing this right. I smiled. Because that was real change. That was growth. That was them actually understanding what family really meant. Not funding each other's bad choices, but supporting each other's growth. Even when that support looks harsh. Even when it requires saying no. My name is Patricia Moore. I'm 69 years old now. 2 years ago, my daughter-in-law told me I should pay their $50,000 debt because family helps family. I said no. Offered counseling instead. They rejected it. Their marriage fell apart. They lost their house. They blamed me. Then they learned. Slowly. painfully, but really learned. Today, they're debt-free in 10 months, saving for children, building a real life, not a social media life, a real one. And Jennifer regretted ever saying I should pay their debts, because she learned that real family doesn't fund bad choices. Real family teaches better ones. Share this if you've been pressured by family who think your money exists to solve their problems. Comment if you've had to refuse help to teach a harder lesson. Subscribe to Lindsay's Stories for more stories of tough love and boundaries. She said I should pay because I'm family. I taught her what family really means instead. That's everything. What I haven't fully explained yet is what those first few months after refusing were really like. The family pressure, the judgment, the way Jennifer weaponized every relationship we had to make me the villain. Week 1 after the refusal, Jennifer's mother called me. Patricia, Jennifer tells me you refused to help Marcus with his financial troubles. I offered to pay for financial counseling. They refused. But they need money, not counseling. They need counseling. They make excellent money. They just spend more than they make. Still, you're Marcus's mother. Don't you think you should help? I am helping. Real help. Not a Band-Aid. Jennifer says you're being cruel. Jennifer spent $62,000 last year on luxuries while they built $50,000 in debt. Jennifer's definition of cruel and mine are very different. Her mother went silent. Then, I didn't know about the spending. Most people don't. They just hear Jennifer's version where she and Marcus are innocent victims, and I'm the heartless mother-in-law with money. I'll talk to her. Good luck. Week 2, my friend Carol from church approached me. Patricia, I heard about Marcus and Jennifer. Are you doing okay? I'm fine. Jennifer says you refuse to help when they're losing their house. Jennifer says a lot of things. So it's not true? I pulled out my phone, showed Carol the screenshots of Jennifer's recent luxury purchases. She posted these while claiming they're struggling. What do you think? Carol's face changed. Oh, that's very different from what she told people. Yes, it is. Jennifer wants money without accountability. I offered accountability without money. She chose to paint me as the villain rather than accept responsibility. People are talking. At church. Some think you should help regardless. Those people are welcome to give Jennifer $50,000 if they feel that strongly. I'm not stopping them. That's fair. Carol, can I ask you something? If your daughter-in-law demanded $50,000, showed you she'd spent $62,000 on luxuries the previous year, and refused professional financial help, would you give her the money? Long pause. No, I wouldn't. Then you understand why I won't either. Week 3, things escalated at a family birthday party. My niece's celebration. Jennifer and Marcus attended. So did I. First time seeing them since the refusal. Jennifer ignored me completely. Wouldn't make eye contact. Wouldn't speak to me. Made a show of talking to everyone else warmly while freezing me out. Marcus looked uncomfortable but didn't intervene. Just stood next to Jennifer like a prop in her performance. My brother, Jennifer's uncle by marriage, pulled me aside. Patricia, what's going on? Jennifer says you abandoned Marcus. Did she tell you she and Marcus make $110,000 a year and are $50,000 in debt from pure spending? No. She said they had unexpected expenses and needed temporary help. She lied. Want to see the proof? I showed him the budget breakdown I'd created. The spending analysis, the luxury purchases, everything. Jesus. They spend more on restaurants than I spend on groceries for my whole family. Exactly. This isn't need. It's entitlement. Well, why is she telling everyone you refuse to help? Because the truth makes her look bad. The lie makes me look bad. And Jennifer would rather be seen as a victim than admit she's irresponsible. Should I say something? Only if she brings it up to you directly. Otherwise, let her dig her own hole. The truth comes out eventually. By week 4, the social media campaign was in full swing. Jennifer was posting multiple times a day. Always vague. Always pointed. Always painting herself as the suffering daughter-in-law with the heartless mother-in-law. My daughter-in-law from my late husband's side, we'd stayed close even after he died, called me. Patricia, I'm seeing Jennifer's posts. What's the real story? I told her everything. Sent her the documentation. Oh, wow. She's lying to everyone. Yes. Why don't you defend yourself? Post your side? Because then it becomes a public fight. Two sides arguing. He said, she said. I'm taking the high road until I can't anymore. When is that? When she pushes too far. When the lies get so big that silence becomes complicity. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. What happens when you get there? I have documentation, screenshots, bank statements Marcus shared with me, a complete timeline. When I post, it won't be he said, she said. It'll be facts. And Jennifer will regret making this public. Good. She deserves to be called out. She deserves to face consequences. Being called out is just the beginning. Week 5, Jennifer's campaign got personal. She started sharing memories on social media, photos from family events where I was present, always with captions about better times, and before I knew who people really were. One photo, Thanksgiving dinner from 2 years ago. Caption, back when family actually cared about each other, before money became more important than relationships. Another photo, Christmas morning, Marcus opening a gift I'd given him. Caption, remember when gifts came from love, not obligation? Good times. Each post was designed to make me look heartless while Jennifer looked like the wounded party, and people were buying it. Comments poured in supporting Jennifer, sympathizing with her, condemning me without knowing the full story. My hands shook reading some of the comments. How could a mother do this to her son? Money isn't worth losing family. Some people don't deserve the blessings they have. I wanted to respond, wanted to post the truth, wanted to defend myself, but I waited, because I knew, the longer Jennifer kept this up, the worse the eventual reveal would be. She was building a narrative, and when I finally contradicted it with facts, the fall would be devastating. Week 6, Marcus called, late at night, voice shaking. Mom, Jennifer wants me to stop talking to you. What? She says you're toxic, that you're destroying our marriage, that if I keep seeing you or talking to you, she can't trust me. And what do you think? I think I'm trapped. If I choose you, I lose my wife. If I choose her, I lose my mom. Why are you making me choose? I'm not making you choose, Marcus. Jennifer is. She's the one issuing ultimatums. But if you'd just help us, we're back to that? Marcus, helping you means enabling Jennifer's spending. I won't do that. I love you too much. She says you don't love me, that if you did, you'd help no matter what. That's manipulation, Marcus. Love doesn't mean funding irresponsibility. It means helping people grow, even when growth is painful. I don't know what to do. Yes, you do. You know Jennifer's spending is the problem. You know $50,000 wouldn't solve anything. You know I'm right. You just don't want to admit it because admitting it means facing hard truths about your marriage. Don't say that. Why not? Because it hurts? The truth often does. Jennifer is controlling your finances, your relationships, and now your family connections. Is that the marriage you want? I love her. I know. But love isn't enough when one person is destructive. You can love her and still require her to change. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. He hung up without answering, and I knew. Jennifer was tightening her grip, isolating Marcus from anyone who'd tell him the truth, making him choose between reality and her version of reality. Week 7 was quiet. Too quiet. No calls, no posts, no contact, just silence. I didn't like it. Silence meant planning, meant something was coming, but I didn't know what. Then, week 8, I found out. Marcus and Jennifer filed for bankruptcy. Chapter 7. Full liquidation of debts. The notice came in my mail because I was listed as a creditor, for the $12,000 in loans I'd given them over the years. Loans I'd never expected to be repaid, but had documented anyway. I called my attorney. They filed bankruptcy. What does this mean? It means they're officially declaring they can't pay their debts. The bankruptcy court will liquidate what they can, discharge the rest. Your $12,000 will be discharged. So I'll never get that back? Correct. It'll be written off, and they'll start fresh with zero debt. But they'll still have the same spending habits. Bankruptcy doesn't fix behavior, just resets the numbers. So in a few years, they'll be right back here. Most likely, unless something changes. Week 9, after the bankruptcy filing, Jennifer posted again. Sometimes hitting rock bottom is the only way to start fresh. Grateful for new beginnings and leaving toxic people behind. Toxic people. She meant me, because I'd refused to prevent her bankruptcy by paying her debts. My sister called. Patricia, Did you see Jennifer's post? I saw it. She's calling you toxic. After everything. After all your patience. How are you not furious? I am furious. But I'm also strategic. Jennifer keeps giving me ammunition. Every post, every lie, every manipulation. When I finally respond, I'll have an airtight case. When will that be? Soon. Very soon. I'm just waiting for the right moment. The moment when my response will have maximum impact. What are you planning? You'll see. Everyone will see. And Jennifer will regret every public post she made. Week 10. The right moment arrived. Jennifer made a crucial mistake. She went too far. She posted a long essay about family betrayal, about mothers who fail their sons, about toxic people who hide behind money, and she tagged me, directly, by name. Patricia Moore claims to love her son but refused to help when he needed it most. She has thousands in savings but wouldn't spare $50,000 to save her own son's home. What kind of mother does that? What kind of person values money over family? I hope she's happy with her bank account while her son suffers. Toxic family, not fake family. Money over love. She tagged me, made it personal, made it direct. Crossed the line from vague posting to direct accusation. And that was the green light I'd been waiting for. I sat down at my computer, pulled up the folder I'd been building for 10 weeks. Every screenshot, every receipt, every piece of documentation, and I crafted a response. Not emotional, not defensive, just facts. Cold, hard, undeniable facts. I posted it thread style. 20 posts, each one revealing another piece of the truth. And I made sure to tag all the same people Jennifer had tagged. Made sure everyone would see. Post 1. Jennifer tagged me directly, so let me respond with facts, not feelings. Post 2. Jennifer and Marcus make $110,000 a year combined. That's more than 80% of American households. Post 3. They're $50,000 in debt, not from medical bills, not from emergencies, from lifestyle spending. Post 4. Last year alone, Jennifer spent $62,000 on clothes, restaurants, travel, furniture, and entertainment. Post 5. To be clear, their total take-home income was $80,000. She spent $62,000 on non-essentials. That math doesn't work. Post 6. When they asked me to pay their $50,000 debt, I asked for their financial documents. Here's what I found. Screenshots of credit card statements showing luxury purchases. Post 7. I offered to pay for professional financial counseling, a 6-month comprehensive program worth $3,000. They refused. Post 8. Jennifer said they need money, not lectures. I said they need tools to manage money. We disagreed. Post 9. Over the past 8 weeks of Jennifer's social media campaign, she's posted the following purchases. Screenshots of her luxury items posted during the struggling period. Post 10. $800 purse, $500 resort weekend, $300 designer shoes, all while claiming to be drowning. Post 11. Over 4 years, I've loaned Marcus and Jennifer $12,000. Not $1 was ever repaid. Not one. Post 12. This $50,000 request would have been $62,000 total given to them with zero accountability. Post 13. Jennifer says I value money over family. I say I value teaching responsibility over enabling destruction. Post 14. Real love sometimes means saying no, means letting people face consequences, means refusing to fund bad choices. Post 15. I didn't make them go $50,000 in debt. Their spending did. I didn't make them file bankruptcy. Their choices did. Post 16. I offered real help, professional tools to change behavior. They wanted cash. Those are not the same thing. Post 17. Jennifer has spent 10 weeks painting me as heartless on social media. Here's my question for everyone reading. Post 18. If your daughter-in-law made $110K, spent $62K on luxuries, was $50K in debt, and demanded you pay it while refusing professional help, what would you do? Post 19. Would you give $50,000? Or would you offer tools to fix the actual problem? I chose tools. Jennifer chose to vilify me for it. Post 20. I love my son. I want him to succeed, but love doesn't mean funding irresponsibility. It means teaching better. Jennifer calls that toxic. I call it parenting. You decide. I posted the thread, made it public, tagged everyone Jennifer had tagged, and waited. The response was immediate, overwhelming, and completely in my favor. Comments flooded in within minutes. Holy shit! Jennifer's been lying this whole time. $62,000 in spending while asking for $50,000? That's insane. Patricia, you did the right thing. This is tough love. I can't believe Jennifer called you toxic when she's the one being irresponsible. Everyone needs to see this. Jennifer's been manipulating the narrative. My phone rang. My sister. Patricia, that post. It's everywhere. Everyone's sharing it. Good. Jennifer is going to lose her mind. Probably. But she brought this on herself. She made it public. She tagged me directly. She wanted this fight. So I gave it to her. With facts. Within an hour, the thread had been shared hundreds of times. People were tagging Jennifer, demanding she respond, calling out her hypocrisy. Jennifer's response was to delete all her previous posts, every single one, tried to erase the evidence of her campaign. But it was too late. People had screenshots, had receipts, had memories. She posted one final thing. I'm deleting social media for my mental health. Too much negativity. Translation. I got caught lying and I can't handle the consequences. She blocked me, blocked everyone who'd commented supporting me, disappeared from social platforms completely. And Marcus? Marcus called me that night. Mom, I saw your post. And? Jennifer's hysterical. Says you've ruined her life, that everyone hates her now. I didn't ruin her life. I revealed the truth she'd been hiding. Big difference. Did you have to be so public about it? Marcus. She was public for 10 weeks. She tagged me directly. She made this a public fight. I just won it. What am I supposed to do now? What you should have done weeks ago. Face reality. Jennifer lied to everyone. She manipulated people into thinking I was the villain. She destroyed her own reputation by being exposed. None of that is my fault. She says you're trying to destroy our marriage. Your marriage is destroying itself. I'm just refusing to fund it. There's a difference. I don't know what to believe anymore. Believe the facts, Marcus. The numbers don't lie. You make good money. You spend more than you make. That's the problem. Everything else is just noise. He hung up, and I knew. This was the turning point. Either Marcus would see the truth and make changes, or he'd double down with Jennifer and stay trapped in dysfunction. I'd given him all the tools, all the information, all the reality checks. What he did with them was up to him. 2 weeks after my public post, Marcus moved out. Not divorce, just separation. Needed space to think, to process, to figure out what he really wanted. He called me from a hotel. I left. Are you okay? No, but I'm clearer. I've been going through our finances without Jennifer running interference. Mom, it's worse than I thought. How much worse? The $50,000 we told you about? That was just credit cards. There's more. A personal loan I didn't know about. Jennifer took it out in her name only. Another $15,000. Jesus. And she's been hiding purchases. Packages arriving that she'd hide before I got home. I found the receipts. Another $8,000 in the past 3 months alone, while we were supposedly struggling. So the real debt is $73,000? At least. Maybe more I haven't found yet. Marcus, I'm so sorry. You tried to tell me. You offered counseling. You said it was a spending problem. I didn't want to believe you. I thought you were just being harsh. But you were right. About everything. What are you going to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to try to save the marriage. Part of me knows Jennifer won't change. And I can't live like this anymore. The stress, the fighting, the lying. I'm drowning. You're not drowning. You're starting to swim. For the first time in years, you're seeing clearly. That's not drowning. That's progress. It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like failure. Sometimes they look the same, but they're not. Failure would be staying trapped. This is growth. Painful, but growth. 3 weeks after leaving, Marcus agreed to meet with me and the financial counselor I'd originally offered to pay for. Just him. No Jennifer. One-on-one session. The counselor was blunt. Marcus, you're in a financial hole, but it's not insurmountable. Here's what needs to happen. Over the next 2 hours, we created a real plan. Budget, debt payoff strategy, Behavioral changes. Everything Marcus needed to know to dig himself out. But what about Jennifer? Marcus asked. We're still married. She'll have access to money. Not if you separate your finances, the counselor said. Legally, you can open accounts in your name only, control your own paycheck, make her responsible for her own spending. She'll never agree to that. Then you'll know where you stand. If she won't agree to financial boundaries, you'll know the marriage isn't salvageable. Marcus left that session with homework, and with clarity. He knew what he needed to do. The question was, would he do it? 4 weeks after leaving Jennifer, Marcus made his decision. He filed for separation. Not divorce yet, but legal separation and financial boundaries. His income went into an account only he controlled. Bills got paid first. Jennifer was on her own for spending money. Jennifer was furious. Called me, from a new number I hadn't blocked. This is your fault. You've turned Marcus against me. I haven't turned anyone against anyone. I've just stopped funding dysfunction. He's controlling all the money now. I can't even buy groceries. You can buy groceries. You just can't buy $800 purses. That's called having a budget. You've destroyed my marriage. Your spending destroyed your marriage. Your lying destroyed your reputation. Your manipulation destroyed your relationships. I just refuse to enable any of it. That's not destruction. That's boundaries. I hate you. You're welcome to. Doesn't change anything. She hung up, and I never heard from her directly again. All future communication went through Marcus, and eventually, through lawyers. 5 months after Marcus moved out, Jennifer filed for divorce. Couldn't handle the financial boundaries. Couldn't handle being accountable. Couldn't handle life without unlimited access to spending. The divorce was straightforward. They had no assets, only debt. Split the debt, split what little they had, went separate ways. Marcus moved into a small apartment, took a second job, lived on 30% of his income, put the rest toward debt. In 6 months, he'd paid off $20,000. Was actually doing it, without Jennifer, without my money, just him, making better choices. And me? I watched my son transform, watched him learn, watched him grow, watched him become responsible, not because I'd funded his problems, but because I'd refused to. 6 months after the divorce, Jennifer reached out with her apology, the one I mentioned earlier, asking for the financial counseling, actually wanting to change. I said yes. Not because I forgave her, I was still processing that, but because everyone deserves tools to do better, even people who've wronged you. Jennifer completed the program. 6 months. Every session, actually learned, and slowly, very slowly, started to change. A year after the divorce, Marcus and Jennifer started talking again, carefully, with boundaries, about whether they wanted to try again. What do you think, Mom? Marcus asked. Should I give her another chance? That depends. Has she actually changed? Or has she just learned to say the right things? She's working. She's been at the same job for 8 months. She's paying her own rent. She's been making her car payment every month. She finished the counseling, got certified in it actually. She's helping other people now. That's real change. So you think I should try? I think you should be cautious. People can change, but they can also revert under stress. If you try again, do it slowly. Keep finances separate until you're sure. Don't rush into merging everything again. That's fair. And Marcus, whatever you decide, I support you, but I won't fund problems again. Ever. If things go bad, you handle it. That's the boundary. I understand. And Mom, thank you for not giving us the money, for making us face reality. I'm in a better place now than I've ever been. Because you said no. That meant everything. My son understanding. My son grateful. My son grown. 18 months after Jennifer's original demand, Marcus and Jennifer reconciled. Slowly. With clear boundaries. Separate finances. Both working. Both responsible. Both contributing. They weren't the same people who'd demanded $50,000. They were better. Humbled. Wiser. Stronger. And at that dinner at their apartment, 2 years after the original demand, I saw the transformation complete. Saw them actually happy. Not performatively happy for social media. Actually happy. Living within their means. Planning responsibly for the future. talking about kids only after being financially ready. You saved us, Jennifer said as I was leaving, by refusing to save us. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. I regretted what I said. You should pay because you're family. I was so entitled, so wrong, and you were right to refuse. Thank you for that. You're welcome. I tell my counseling clients about you now, about the mother-in-law who loved her son enough to say no, about how real help isn't always comfortable, about how boundaries are love. You're kind of famous in my sessions. I laughed. Famous for refusing to give money. That's a first. Famous for teaching the right lesson. That's more valuable than any amount of money. My name is Patricia Moore. I'm 69 years old. 2 years ago, my daughter-in-law said I should pay their $50,000 debt because I'm family. I said no. She vilified me for 10 weeks. I eventually posted the truth. Her lies were exposed. Their marriage fell apart. They lost everything. Then they rebuilt. Better, stronger, wiser. And today, they're thriving. Not because I gave them money, because I refused to. Because I taught them that real family means teaching growth, not funding destruction. Jennifer regretted saying I should pay because I'm family, because she learned that family means something very different than she thought. And me? I have no regrets. I made the right choice, even when it looked heartless, even when I was called toxic, even when it cost me relationships temporarily. Because my son is better now. His ex-wife turned current wife is better now. And they'll teach their future children better. All because I said no when everyone expected yes. Share this if you've refused to enable family members who demanded your money. Comment if you've been called toxic for having boundaries. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of tough love and real family. She said I should pay because I'm family. I taught her what family really means. And 2 years later, she thanks me for it. That's everything. There's one more thing I need to say about this experience. Something about the nature of family obligation that took me 2 years to fully understand. When Jennifer first said, you should pay because you're family, she was weaponizing a beautiful concept. Family. She was taking something meant to represent love, support, and mutual care, and twisting it into obligation, into guilt, into control. That's what manipulation does. It takes good things and perverts them, makes family mean, you owe me, makes love mean, give me what I want, makes support mean, fund my bad choices. And for a while, those first few weeks after refusing, I wondered if I was wrong, if maybe I was being too harsh, if maybe family really did mean sacrificing for each other regardless of circumstances. But then I watched what happened when I said no. Watched Marcus struggle, watched Jennifer spiral, watched them hit rock bottom, and then, crucially, watched them climb back up. And I realized, saying no wasn't rejecting family, it was protecting it. Real family doesn't destroy each other with enabling. Real family builds each other up with truth, even when truth is uncomfortable, even when growth is painful, even when love looks like refusal. That's what Jennifer learned. That's what she meant when she said she regretted her words, not just because they didn't work, because they were fundamentally wrong, because she'd misunderstood what family really means. Last month, 2 years and 4 months after the original demand, I attended Marcus and Jennifer's vow renewal. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Very different from their first wedding, which had been expensive and showy. This one was intimate. In their apartment. Simple decorations, homemade food, nothing fancy, but more meaningful than the first wedding had ever been. Jennifer's vows included this: I promise to never again confuse enabling with love, to never demand support without offering accountability, to never weaponize family to manipulate. You deserve better, and so do I. She looked at me when she said it, acknowledged with her eyes what those words meant. Who had taught her that lesson? Who had loved her enough to say no? After the ceremony, we talked privately. Patricia, I want to tell you something I've never fully explained. I'm listening. When I first demanded the money, I genuinely believed you owed it to us. I thought, she's Marcus's mother. She has money. We're family. Therefore, she should help. It seemed logical. But it wasn't. No. Because I'd confused different types of help. Financial rescue isn't the same as real support, and I'd also convinced myself our debt wasn't our fault, that we'd just had bad luck, that we deserved rescue because we were good people who'd been dealt a bad hand. But that wasn't true either. Not even close. We made choices. Every purchase, every vacation, every luxury item. We chose our lifestyle. And when it became unsustainable, I wanted someone else to fix it. Specifically, you. Why me? Because you were safe. You loved Marcus unconditionally. I knew you'd never truly abandon him. So I thought I could pressure you, could guilt you, could manipulate you into giving us money. And if you did, great. If you didn't, I could at least make you the villain and deflect responsibility from us. That's remarkably self-aware. 2 years of therapy and financial counseling does that. Makes you face ugly truths about yourself. What changed? What made you actually want to change instead of just wanting the pressure to stop? Hitting bottom. Real bottom. When Marcus left and I was alone, I couldn't blame you anymore. Couldn't blame bad luck. Couldn't blame circumstances. I had to face that I destroyed my own marriage through entitlement and irresponsibility. That was brutal, but necessary. And now? Now I help other people avoid my mistakes. I work with clients who have the same entitlement I had, the same victim mentality, the same belief that someone else should fix their problems. And I tell them my story, about demanding $50,000 from my mother-in-law, about the social media campaign, about hitting bottom, about rebuilding, and about learning that real family means something completely different than I thought. Do they listen? Some do. Some aren't ready. Just like I wasn't ready when you first offered counseling. But even the ones who aren't ready, they hear the seed. And maybe later, when they hit their own bottom, they'll remember. They'll realize they have a choice. Enable or grow. I try to show them what growth looks like. I'm proud of you. Thank you. And Patricia, I know I apologized before, but I want to apologize again. More specifically, I'm sorry for saying you should pay because you're family. That was manipulative, entitled, wrong. You didn't owe us anything, and by refusing, you gave us something more valuable than $50,000. You gave us the chance to grow up, to take responsibility, to become better people. That's worth more than any amount of money. Apology accepted. Again, will you come to dinner next month? We're having my parents over. I want them to hear the real story, from you, about what happened. They still only know my version, the one I told them 2 years ago when I was still playing victim. They need to hear the truth. Why now? Because they still think you were heartless. And that's not fair. You were the opposite. You were tough when I needed tough. And they should know that. They should understand what you did for us. For me. For Marcus. I'll come. The dinner happened 3 weeks later. Jennifer's parents, Marcus, Jennifer, and me, sitting around their small dining table. Jennifer had prepared the meal herself. Simple. Delicious. Within budget. After dinner, Jennifer addressed her parents. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something. About 2 years ago. About Patricia. About what really happened. And she told them. Everything. The real debt. The real spending. The demand. The refusal. The counseling offer. The rejection. The social media campaign. The lies. The manipulation. All of it. Her mother's face changed throughout the story. From defensive to surprised to understanding to ashamed. You lied to us, her mother said finally. You told us Patricia refused to help a family in crisis. But you weren't in crisis. You were irresponsible. Yes. And Patricia offered real help. Professional help. And you rejected it. Yes. I owe Patricia an apology. She turned to me. I'm so sorry. I judged you without knowing the full story. I thought you were being cruel, but you were being wise, and I was wrong. Apology accepted. Why did you finally tell us the truth? Her father asked Jennifer. Because I'm not that person anymore. The one who lies to make herself look better. The one who manipulates people into taking her side. I'm different now, and part of being different is facing the truth I avoided, even when it's embarrassing. We're proud of you, her mother said. This took courage. Patricia gave me no choice but courage. By refusing to enable me, she forced me to face reality. I hated her for it at the time, but I'm grateful now. She saved my life by refusing to save me. Does that make sense? Her parents nodded, understanding, finally seeing what had really happened 2 years ago. As I drove home that night, I thought about Jennifer's words. She saved my life by refusing to save me. That's what tough love really is. Not cruelty disguised as care, but care that's willing to be uncomfortable, willing to be misunderstood, willing to be vilified if necessary. Because the long-term good matters more than short-term comfort. I'd refuse to save Jennifer and Marcus from their debt, and in doing so, I'd save them from a lifetime of financial dysfunction, from enabling, from never learning, from staying trapped in immaturity. That's worth more than $50,000, worth more than avoiding conflict, worth more than being liked in the moment. This morning, 2 years and 6 months after Jennifer said I should pay because I'm family, I received a text from Marcus. Mom, Jennifer's pregnant. We're having a baby. Wanted you to be first to know, and wanted to say thank you for everything, for saying no when we needed to hear it, for teaching us what we needed to learn, for being the kind of mother who loves enough to be tough. Our kid will have financially responsible parents because you refused to fund our irresponsibility. That's the best gift you could have given us. I love you. I cried reading that text. Because that was vindication, complete vindication, not of being right, of being loving, of choosing the harder path because it was the better path. My grandchild will grow up with parents who know how to manage money, who understand that debt has consequences, who won't weaponize family to manipulate, who won't enable each other's bad choices, all because their grandmother said no when everyone expected yes. That's the legacy, not the money I kept, the lesson I taught, the growth I required, the transformation I enabled by refusing to enable dysfunction. Jennifer regretted saying I should pay because I'm family. She regretted it for 2 years. But now she's grateful, because she learned what family really means, and she's better for it. My name is Patricia Moore. I'm 69 years old. 2.5 years ago, my daughter-in-law demanded I pay $50,000 because family helps family. I refused. She attacked me, vilified me, manipulated everyone against me, made me the villain in her story. Then reality caught up. Her lies were exposed. Their marriage collapsed. They hit bottom. They rebuilt. Better, stronger, wiser. Today, they're debt-free, happily married, expecting a child, and grateful I said no. Because I taught them that real family doesn't fund destruction. Real family teaches growth. Even when growth hurts, even when teaching looks like refusing, even when love means saying no. Share this if you've had to refuse family who weaponized obligation. Comment if you've been vilified for having boundaries. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of tough love that actually loves. She said I should pay because I'm family. I taught her what family really means. And 2.5 years later, she's thanking me for it, while expecting my grandchild. Who will benefit from the lesson I taught? That's everything.